Welcome everyone. This is Professor Rosas, and today I am going to walk you through how to do an independent samples t-test in Jamovi. This is going to be relevant to your lab assignment number 8. And we are going to start with downloading the relevant data file. This is the data file that you're going to use for your Lab 8 assignment. And it's the same data file we're going to use here for me to show you how to do the independent samples t-test. So you will download the data file on the main Blackboard page for this course, as you've done for previous labs. You'll find it under Lab Assignments and Materials, under the To Do Before Lab section of Lab 8. Once you have the file downloaded onto your machine, make sure you know where to find that data file, and then we can go ahead and open this data file. So let's do that. You can go up here to these 3 horizontal lines, click Open, choose Browse, and locate the data file that you downloaded from Blackboard and hit Open. This should look familiar to you now. Once we do that, we have a bunch of columns here that are populated. Remember, this data set is the data in the paper that you guys were supposed to read, and we are going to do some of the analyses that are done in that paper. So our analyses should match what you see in the paper in some of these measures. And specifically, what we're going to talk about in this video is the comparison of participants in the audio condition to participants in the transcript condition on the intellect rating variable. This is question 1 of part 1 in your lab assignment, and we're going to do that here together. And I will record a separate video for question 2 of part 1 of your lab assignment. So make sure that you watch both of those. So what information do we need from this huge data set? Where are the relevant columns? Well, first of all, our measure, the intellect rating, can be found all the way on the right or at the end of this data set. And you can find it here. It's the 3rd column from the left. It's called the intellect rating. And the other piece of information we need is our condition. So is this an audio condition or a transcript condition? That information is coded here in the 1st column called condition. And here, 0 codes for transcript and 1 codes for audio. So let's go ahead and start the independent samples t-test, where we use the intellect rating and condition. So if you look up here on the menu under analysis, you will find a tab for t-tests. Click on that, and the independent samples t-test will be the first thing that you'll see on the list, and we're going to go ahead and select that. So now we need to specify, let Jamovi know which variable we are interested in looking at. And we are interested in the intellect rating here. So we're going to scroll all the way down, select intellect rating, and move it into our dependent variable window. So we are interested in how the intellect rating differs under the 2 conditions, which is the audio and the transcript. So our condition variable is going to be our grouping variable. So these are going to be our groups that we're going to be comparing the intellect rating. Once you do that, you will see the independent samples t-test table appear on the right that gives you all of the relevant statistics, including the important p-value here that will allow you to make or draw conclusions about your data. So this is the basic independent samples t-test, but we also want to make sure that we include some of the descriptive statistics, those that actually went into computing these statistic values. And we can do that by simply clicking on this descriptives box here. When we do that, we get a table for each group And we can see here that for the transcript condition, which is 0, the n is 18, the mean is 3.65, the median is 3.67, so on. And for our audio condition, our n is 21 and our mean is 5.63. The median is 5.67, and so on. So we can generate these descriptive statistics directly here under the t-test tab. We don't need to go back to the exploration tab and click on descriptive statistics again. We have an opportunity to add the basic descriptive statistics that are relevant here without having to switch back to the exploration tab. So now we have our independent samples t-test that allows us to draw the conclusion about whether there is in fact a difference in the intellect rating depending on the condition and some of the basic descriptive statistic. One more thing that we want to add here is the homogeneity of variance test. Now, depending on the version of Jamovi that you have, you may see a different term for that test. As an example, in my Jamovi, the homogeneity of variance is actually called equality of variances. So whether it says homogeneity of variance or equality of variance, this is the test that you want. Again, it will appear, all of these options will appear for you once you select the independent samples t-test under the t-test tab. So let's go ahead and include the equality of variance table. It will appear here and again give you all of the relevant values like the F statistic and the p-value that will allow you to evaluate whether there's been a violation of the assumption of equal variances between your two groups that you are comparing. Okay, so this is how you do an independent samples t-test and add the basic descriptive statistics and the test of the equality of variance or homogeneity of variance. You will also need to generate a bar plot, which you can do back under the exploration tab. So if you go here and go back to descriptives, remember, we can eliminate all of these things here because we no longer need them. So let's unclick everything. We have the descriptive statistics that we want above. And so all we want here are plots. But remember, we have to specify, again, our variables. So we're going to click on condition here. Move it into the split by window, and then we're going to find the intellect rating and move it into our variable column. And then under the plots, we're going to select the bar plot. So it takes a moment to generate. Here is the bar plot of the data. Remember that 0 condition stands for transcript and 1 stands for audio. You can label that for yourself. Make sure to copy and paste these tables and figures into your lab report. If you aren't sure how to do that yet, it's fairly simple. You right-click on the table, any table or figure. You click copy, and then you can easily, you can see that it appeared, this pop-up that it copied, and then you can copy and you can paste it into a Word document so it can be part of your lab. Okay, I hope you found this video helpful. In the video 2, I will go over question 2 from part 1 of your Lab 8 assignment. If you have any questions, reach out to me or your TA. I'll be more than happy to help you through this.